Hello, crafty friends. Welcome back. My name's Caroline, and I am the owner of Evertote. And I'm here today with my video for the month on the second project in the Modern Folk Embroidery Quintessential Frisian Smalls. This is a sal that I am hosting, and we are stitching and finishing one small a month, with the exception of the month of December that we are going to skip because we're going to be working on the holiday countdown together. And then we're going to be doing the final project together in January. However, as is the case with all of the stitch alongs that I host, there are no hard and fast rules. If you want to join in at any time, you're always welcome. So I am stitching my smalls on 40 count Roxy Floss Co. porcelain linen. Is it porcelain or is it arrowroot? I think it might be arrowroot. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember. It is the called for fabric anyways. And I am using Falou Red, Roxy Floss Co. Falou Red. So here's project one. This was our pin pillow, and I'm going to put these videos in a playlist. So if you are interested in more information on the pin pillow, I already have that video loaded up from last month. As you can see, I've completed the stitching for my scissor fob. And before I cut out my work to start putting the fob together with the whip stitch, I wanted to point out a tip that was posted in the Facebook group by my friend Geraldine, with regards to the backstitch. When we're doing these projects, there's a lot of backstitching that we do to provide the framework for putting them together for the whip stitch. And her tip was to put a stitched tick every 10 back stitches to help keep your count. Because then, so what I did was I used it on my way up, and then I turned the corner and I used it this way. And then because of course I was just coming back this way, I just lined it up and it was good to go. However, not having to count all of this, 10 times to make sure that I had the correct number was really, really useful. So if you make that stitch and you just tack it into what will be your seam allowance of the small, it's going to be hidden and you're not going to see that when you put the thing together anyways. Really useful tip from Geraldine. So thanks again. There is a Facebook group attached with this project. It is called Modern Folk Embroidery Quintessential Frisian Smalls. You do need to provide your invoice number for your purchase of this project because it is a paid for pattern. And the videos that Jacob provides, because he does have video tutorials as well as the tutorials that are in this booklet, and those videos are accessed both on the Facebook group but also via, if you have purchased the PDF through Jacob's shop, there are links to those videos in your downloads section, your account information on his website. At Evertote, we sell the physical copies of the charts. So as you can see, I thought about adding my initials to the back of my fob, but then I thought, you know what? Let's try something a little different. So I just picked a tiny little cute motif from the extra little charts that Jacob provides, and I just added that detail to it. That was it. So now I have a feeling I'm a little bit nervous about finishing this one. I'll be honest with you. I've never made cord and I have never attached cord to anything. I think maybe I did it once many years ago, but very badly. I might have even glued it on, which of course, if no judgment here, but I've never finished a project like this. So I've got my pin pillow here as inspiration that I am capable of doing these things with a little bit of effort and time and patience. So let's get started. I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to get that whip stitch done. Don't forget to leave the little hole, the little gap that Jacob talks about in his tutorial for getting your cording through from the inside. So again, those tutorial videos from Jacob, and they're very clear. He's an excellent teacher. You can access those on the Facebook group. I will leave a link in the description box below. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I have finished the whip stitch, and the corners on 40 count were tricky. They were a bit tight, a bit small, but I took my time. I did find that instead of trying to go through both back stitches at the same time, I did one, pulled the thread through, and then did the other, and then went taut with the thread, if that makes sense. That seemed to help by slowing it down. I have the nice large opening here ready to add the cord through the center, and I have my small little opening here that cord is supposed to go through. I don't know. I think this is going to be tricky. I have made my cording. I'm pretty pleased with it. It wasn't tricky at all. I do think that maybe I would have made it a little bit longer from the get-go. And Jacob even says this in his video that, you know, you need a lot more than you think you're going to need, because of course you're folding it twice as well as the twist. So, you know, you're going to be shrinking it by about 5 times what you start with. But I think that number, you know, you start with this super long piece of floss and you think, well, surely that's long enough. But it is shocking how short it actually becomes. So we'll see. I think that this length will work because, I mean, look, it's just a teeny tiny little thing. So I think it'll work. So now I'm going to find the needle that I'm going to use. I'm not sure the eye on this is big enough, but it is nice and sharp, which I think is going to help me find that tiny little hole that I need to get there, up there. Either that or it's a huge mistake and I should be using a dull, more tapestry needle to get it through, but we'll see. Let's give it a go. Ta-da! And there you have it. I did it. It's not perfect, but I am unbelievably pleased with myself. As you can see, I've got there. If I open it up, you can see there's the back, there's the front, upside down. Show you there. I can't believe I actually did it. It feels a little unreal, frankly, because I don't know, for so long I've really had this kind of roadblock with my abilities that this was something that I could achieve. So I feel pretty darn good. I've definitely learned some things to take forward into the future when I do this again. For example, my twist on my cording is not, I would have twisted this a lot more, but now I know, and so now I'll know what to look for the next time I make the cording. I should have redone my cording, but instead I was impatient and I just went ahead with the cording that I'd done. I should have made another one. I should have made it a little longer, and I should have done my twist a little tighter. I think that would have improved that a little bit. You can see I've got some separation of my threads in my twist there a little bit. So it's not quite as neat and tidy as it could have been. But attaching it to the fob was super easy. Jacob's tutorials were fantastic. First of all, I read the booklet, I read everything, I looked at the pictures, and then I went and I watched those videos twice. I probably should have watched the cording one a third time. However, I think sometimes doing these things yourself, you learn the tricks and tips and tricks to help you the next time. Anyways, I'm thrilled with it. I can't wait to make another one. I'm not going to lie, it was really fiddly. So I would probably do a slightly larger count next time, but I have to admit that teeny little 40 count fob is super, super adorable. So it's pretty darn cute. I think it was worth the fiddliness. So that is the end of project 2. Look at that. I have 2 completed smalls. And now we are moving on to project 3, which is the Biscornu. And I have been wanting to learn how to put together a Biscornu for years now. So it's time. So time to get my stitching complete for that. This is going to be the small project that we work on together for the month of October. So again, all of the links will be in the description box below if you're interested in joining along with us with these projects. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you give this a try yourself. Jacob is a wonderful teacher, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the thought that went into the development of these projects. Really, really cohesive and very well done. So thanks for joining me today. Take care, and I'll see you soon.